from Diane's Den, and here we are back in now September. Can you believe that? Gosh, it was a bit gritty on here, probably because I did a little bit of work over here earlier. So this week I thought we would make this. It is a milk carton. Now I've actually changed mine so that we don't see all this yucky inside here with the new one. So I have made 4 little milk cartons, and these measure 1 3/4 inches square by 2 inches high. So 1 3/4 by 2 inches. Oops, 1 3/4 by 2 inches. And there's all 4 of them, and I've got these lovely little pegs. Now I don't know, I got these pegs, I don't know where Mum got them, but they were in Mum's stash, so I'm actually using them. This one I made with all retired product except for the, not including the paper, because this was Merry Merlot paper, cardstock. So I decided to do this with all retired products so I could see how it goes together. Now there's a lot to it, so I've actually done quite a few bits. I've done 3 of the little boxes. Yoo-hoo, aren't they so cute? And half of the container. So you don't need to see me do it over and over and over and over again. Now I've also used the iconic imagery, and let me move that one out of the way, just for this Celebrate, which I've done on this big tag. That's not the tag, that's not the one. Here it is. This tag, I don't know which one's the best because I dropped them both, so doesn't matter. I will put this one on because I've already put the hole in it. I might end up doing another one altogether, but yep, so there you go. So that's what I used. I used this lovely big tag here and the Celebrate off of that. So let me see what we need. It's over here. There we go. I've got half of the container made there too. Alright, so let me pop these on one side. I'm going to be using the Pretty Label Punch, which is retired, but I'm going to use that for my handle section on this box, like this one. So, okay, so that is that and that. So, let me tell you what you're going to need. So, you're going to need 4 pieces of card, and I better turn that over so I can read it, otherwise I can't read it, can I? 4 pieces of card that are 7.5 by 5 3/4. So if you cut this at 5 3/4, you will get 2 out of each A4 sheet of card. So you need 4 of those. You're going to need 16 pieces of designer series paper, 4 for each box, right the way around. Okay, and they measure 1.5 by 1 3/4. So you want the 1 3/4 length to be the portrait. So if you've got a design like mine is that's got a direction on it, you need the 1 3/4 for the portrait. And you'll also need 8 pieces that are landscape ways for the top of the boxes, which are 1.5 by 1 1/4 inches this way, which is these bits on the top of the boxes here. So that's the boxes. For the carrier, you're going to need 2 pieces of card that measure, and I've already made 1/2 of the box, so that measure 6 1/4 by 4 3/8. And then for the handle piece that goes through the middle, you need another piece that measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. You're going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper, and these measure, let me see, 3.5, which is the width, by 3 3/4 for the length. So there's not much in it. So 3.5 for the width. So you want your 3 3/4 to be your portrait way. Then you're also going to need 4 pieces that measure 1 inch. Let me see, where's that? 1 inch, and again you're going to need to make sure this goes on the landscape. So it's 1 inch high by 3.5 inches long. So you need 4 pieces of those. So we will start by making the carrier first. So we've got half of the carrier made here. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. Well, actually what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to get my piece that measures 5.25 by 3 3/4, and I'm going to punch out just down from the top, not too far down, and sort of lining it up side to side, my carrier handle. And then I'm going to actually glue this onto here, like so. Now the last one I actually did, I actually rounded the corners. So it's up to you if you want to round the corners or not. I'm not going to do it on this one. So I'm going to put one piece of this on, like so. Alright, so pop that on there like that, and I'm going to leave that to dry for a moment. While I'm leaving that to dry, I'm going to score this piece, which is to be scored at 1 1/4 on all 4 sides. So on using the small ball, we're going to score this at 1 1/4. Turn it 1 1/4. Turn 1 1/4. Turn 1 1/4. Turn. Okay, so I'm going to go back now because I'm going to want to, and I'm going to punch this one out again. So I'm going to line this up in here like so. Now I'm doing it this way because I don't want to damage my punch. And if you punch it out and it's really thick, you're going to damage your punch. So I don't want to damage my punch, so I'm actually doing this. Oh yeah, that I went to pull the pin out and the pin is not even in there, so that wasn't very clever, was it? So now I'm going to glue the other piece on the other side, making sure that I've got the correct way, and I'm going to pop this down on the side here and wait for this side to dry. So while that side is drying, we are going to now, and I'm going to pop this, we're going to fold and burnish these pieces. Fold and burnish. Come on. Get your act together, girl. Alright. And then we're going to bring in our scissors and we're going to notch up that one, and then the same on this one. Turn it and notch this side the same. And this one. Okay, once we've done that, we can move those bits out of the way, and we're now going to, yes, I did throw them in the bin, I thought I threw them on the floor. That wouldn't have been very clever, would it? We're going to glue this sides of this box up. So I'm going to put some glue on both of these. Now you could, if you wanted to, trim these down a little bit because they are going to overlap. But I'm not worried about it, because it's not like you're going to see it. So I've actually, as you can see in there, I don't know if you can see in there, I'm picking some really dark colours lately, and I've actually, they've overlapped. So they're fine, that's what we want, or you can trim them down if you don't want them to overlap. It doesn't really matter one way or the other. So we've done that. We'll pop this one up and this one up, and as you can see, we've got our little thing. Our little baskets are going, milk cartons are going to fit inside. So now we're going to bring this one back in again, and we're going to punch this out one more time. So and it does get harder because you are punching through everything. There we go. Even though there's only one piece of paper, you do manage to get a tiny little bit of it there. But you can imagine just how hard it would be if you were trying to punch through all of that all at once. Okay, so we've done that bit. We're now going to put glue along one of these sides here. And that's along one of the long sides. And we're going to lay this up against it, so that it's flush with the bottom and flush with the sides, like so. Once we're happy with that, we can just press that down like that, and we have one side on. So if you only wanted to make a 2 carton one, that's as much as you need. But for a 4 carton one, so we're going to do exactly the same again. So we're going to put some glue on this long side. And we're going to glue that up against the other side here. So we're going to make sure that it is flush with the bottom and flush with the sides. Squish that together nicely, and this time you can't lay it down to squish it, so you're going to have to put your hand up against the back of it and squish it down like so. Okay, once we've done that, we will bring in our designer series paper, and we're going to pop these along all the sides, so making sure that that's all nice and tight along those sides. We'll bring in our designer series paper, and we're going to glue these onto the side of each one of these. Oops, he's drunk. There's more than just milk in those cartons. Maybe it's eggnog. Around the sides, here we go. Now, I didn't think there was any necessity to put on extra layers because this is just really pretty. You could put this in if you were having a dinner party, Christmas dinner party, you could make a few of these. So, you know, like say there's 8 of you, you put 2 in the middle of the table and pop their names on them. So that's our carton holder, carrier, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to bring in my little saying, which I'm not real happy with. I will redo that one. So when I photograph it, you will actually see that it does work. Now I've got here approximately 20 inches of ribbon. I don't think I need quite that much, but I'm going to pop it on here anyway and tie it off with a big bow. There we go. We can pop 3 of our cartons in here, and we will now make our last carton. Oh, let me put some, no, I won't put these on. I'm not going to put these on because I'm not going to keep this one. I'm going to actually redo them, so that sign. So I will show you how that I've put them on when I do the photographing. So for the boxes, the little milk cartons, you're going to need 4 pieces of card that measure 5 3/4 by 7 1/2. So you will get 2 out of every piece that you make. You will also going to need, and I think I've already told you this, but I'm going to tell you once more, 16 pieces of designer series paper that are 1 3/4 in length and 1 1/2 in width. So you need that to be, as I said before, portrait. And then you will need 8 pieces that are 1 1/2 inches in width and 1 1/4 inches in length. So you need your image to be in the portrait. So we're going to bring in our scoreboard again, and we're going to score our main piece, and we're going to score this on the long side with our small ball at 1 3/4 inch, 3 1/2 inches, 5 1/4 inches, and 7 inches. We're going to turn it so that this small line, this last 1/2 inch score line, is at the bottom of our scoring, and we're going to score again at, on the side, 1 3/4 inch, 3 3/4 inch, and 5 1/4 inch. Once we've done that, we're going to turn it back to the same side as before, so that our 7 inch score line is on the right hand side again, and we're going to score at 2 5/8 inch, just down to that 1/2 inch score line there. So we're going to score it at 2 5/8, just down to that score line, and then 8 1/8 down to that same score line, just like so. Now we're going to put our board out of the way because we're going to do a little bit of scoring by hand. So we're going to bring in our ruler, and we're going to score from our, once we've got it this way, this was our 1 3/4 inch line, this was our 3 3/4 inch line, this was our 5 1/4 inch line. So we're going to score from our 3 3/4 inch line up to our 5 1/4 inch line, and in the same box that you've done this down piece, this little score line, and you're going to join it up to that little score line. See, there's that little score line there, and this triangle now matches up with that score line there, and you're going to do the same in the next one along. So you're going to score that on the diagonal up to that that tiny little, whatever you want to call it, score line. So your piece is going to look like this. It's a little bit hard, this light is dreadful. Does that make it any better? I don't think it does. So that's it. So the top of that triangle matches up with that score line just there. Alright, so now we are going to actually fold and burnish this. We're going to start at the bottom, which is this small line. Here's the top. We're going to start at the bottom, and we're going to fold that and the next one up, and then this top one you're going to fold the opposite way. So you want to fold that the opposite way. Then we're going to fold our side lines. Like so, and then we're going to fold and burnish our diagonal ones. Now we're not worried about the top ones, they are just there to help the ease together when we are actually putting it together. So we're just doing that. We've got those all scored down nicely like that. Now we're going to do our bit of cutting. So this small edge here, we're going to cut away this one completely, and we're going to just wedge it a tiny bit, and then we're going to just take a tiny little wedge out of the top like so. We're then going to cut up the bottom to the next score line on all 4 of these, or 3 of them, sorry. There's not 4 because you've cut the other one off. So that's all the cutting we're going to do. So we've got 4 little flaps here and a little bit on the corner. So now we're going to put our designer series paper onto these. So we're going to pop our little pieces on to this larger section. I should say the larger pieces on to these 4 larger sections across the Once we've done that, I'll make sure that's nice and straight here. We're going to put our smaller pieces on. Now, these will go into the sections that don't have the diagonal score lines. So you're going to pop it in the first one. You've got your diagonal score line there, and you're going to pop this one into the next one without the score line. Okay, so once that's done, we're now going to turn that over like onto one side. Just bring this one section over, and we're going to pop glue along this tab edge here, right along that whole tab edge. And then bring the other one over so that these score lines here and here are matched up. You'll also flush at the top and the bottom. Give them a good squish down, like so. Once you're happy with that, we can open the box up. Now we need to know where that the join is, because the join is the back. So then once with that, we know that that's the back. We are then going to pop that one down and that one down out of the way, and we're going to bring this one of the sides over. Just pop a little bit of glue on there like so, and we're going to square that up and bring the other one over on top of it. Then we're going to bring in the back, which we know that that's the join, so this is the back. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on this one, and we're going to bring that one over on top of there too. Then we're going to lay that down, and we're going to glue this one, which is the front one. So with making sure that's the front means that it will roll down nicely and look nice and neat at the front of the box. So once you're happy with that, we can then just pop our foam folder in there and make sure that that base is down nice and tight like so. Let's pop my pin in my glue. And we're then just going to push in these sides, which is where these are, and those little score lines that we did in that top bit will fold right in nicely, and you can squeeze that together nice and tight then, like so, and it comes together just like a nice little milk carton. Once you've done that, you put your peg. If you don't have pegs, you could always put some holes and put ribbon through it, or you can get some little bulldog clips. I don't know where Mum got these pegs from, so I couldn't tell you, but that's our little milk carton holder. What do you think? Oh, I think it's so gorgeous. What do you think? You could actually, if you wanted to, if you were going to put them on a Christmas table or something like, you could put a name on there and then fill these with little goodies or sweets or whatever for each person, so they know that that one there is for me, Diane, and this one here is for my husband, Shane. This one here is for, I don't know, whoever. I don't do a lot of Christmas things for at home because we usually go out for Christmas lunch. So, but they are just so cute. They are really, really gorgeous. I love them, and they're really easy to make. I think you could fill them. You could even fill them with gifts. I mean, I'd like it if my husband would fill something like this with a nice bracelet or a ring or something like that. So, but he always says to me, go and get what you like. That way I know that you got what you want. So anyway, that's a milk carton and carrier. And if you've enjoyed that and you'd like the written tutorial for it, head down below here to Di's Den for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorial. That's my Facebook group, and you will find the written tutorial for it there. It will go live the same day, same time as this does. And if you're watching later after the video date, you can always just check the date, and then you can go to my website, my Facebook group, sorry, and that way once you've joined the group, if you're not a member, you just go there and you say, oh, this was dated whatever date this goes live. I don't know what date this is going live at the present time. And you just go to the file section, and there you'll find it. If you would like these products, these products here, this Designer Series paper is all retired, but this is all current. This is an online exclusive product. It was a product from last Christmas, which is carried over. So that's fantastic because it's absolutely beautiful paper. It's like really shiny, and like the red bits are like really, you can't see them real well in this light, but they actually sparkle. So if you've enjoyed that and you'd like more information, you know how to contact me. You'll find my details down there. If you'd like to be a customer or you'd like to join my group, I would love to have you. And I will see you again next week. Bye for now.